Sure, complex. Humans are complex. Trauma is complex. So, sort of
Mhm.
switching gears to the security clearance process, and let's touch on because I'm not sure if the average security clearance holder, especially if they haven't had to engage in some sort of counseling services, but the difference between progress and psychotherapy notes and why it's important to know that difference.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal. I pride myself on being incredibly vague. It's almost comical when you think about it because when you need medical documentation, most of the time you need it to be incredibly detailed because you want another provider. Or if you get in a car wreck on the way to work and you kick the bucket, you need the next person to know exactly what was going on when you saw that patient, and so you expect that they're very, very detailed. In mental health, it doesn't work that way. It's more of the vaguer the better. And my approach to that is for protection of my client, of whoever I am treating. So let's talk about the difference between psychotherapy notes and progress notes. Progress notes are what are given to the insurance company. They are intentionally meant to be vague. They say things like veteran oriented to time and place, mood, depressive symptoms, etc. But then it will say generics like client reports abuse by relative from ages 6 to 10 or whatever it may be, and that would be the extent of it. Sometimes I don't even put those things in. The psychotherapy note is the property of your provider. It can be destroyed at any time. It is only accessible through a judge's subpoena. And that will say much more detailed things like client or veteran reports sexual abuse by mother from age 6 to 10. And so part of that is the insurance company doesn't need to know. They just need to know a diagnosis code and the logistical side. They don't need to know every instance of your personal life. The other part is that is meant to protect people because sometimes progress notes can be pulled for legal purposes in court. I think the biggest concern, though, for the clearance holder, and I have had this happen when I was working at the VA, I was treating a GS 15 who worked as a civilian Army employee. He had deployed and done active duty time. I think he probably did three active duty enlistments and then retired as a reservist. And he's coming to me as a civilian employee. So in the VA system, I can pull up his deployments to theater. I can still see some of those. Uh, but what ended up happening was in his job, he continues to deploy to ammo supply posts around the world. And he went in for a pre deployment physical, and all of the notes from the VA were sitting on that doctor's desk. And in the old days, it was just a one-way street pretty much. The VA could see Army information, but the Army didn't necessarily see VA information. And we had to learn the hard way that that is no longer the case. And so for people like that who are still actively deploying, I would openly talk to your provider and say, I am concerned about people reading my progress notes and maybe not concerned about your skill set, but I'm concerned that they're going to misinterpret what you are writing. And that's why I say the more vague, the better off both of us are. And that's not being deceptive. That's called protecting people's privacy. Without privacy, we feel like we have no trust basically, and we can't be open and honest about our problems.